In this video, what we're going to go ahead and work on is the musical alphabet, okay, and practicing the musical alphabet. Now, if you remember, the musical alphabet really just goes from A up until G. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then all it does is that it repeats itself over and over and over again. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to practice working on figuring out the notes of the alphabet without necessarily always starting from A, right? Now, of course, we're going to use A because A is going to help us out to be able to get through and remember where everything is, but eventually what we're going to try and get good at is being able to start from anywhere. So the first activity that's on our musical alphabet practice sheet is, can you fill in the missing letters? So we start with here A and B, and then we have two blanks and then E, F, G, right? So this one's quite easy. So you just have to think, okay, what comes after A and B? We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So this would be, and you can go ahead and write this in, we have C here, so A, B, C, and then we have D, E, F, G, okay? Now after this, all of the starting letters are going to be different. So it's not going to be A every single time that we start, but we can use our musical alphabet that we have up here to help us figure out the rest. So we have C, D, E. Then the question becomes, okay, what comes after C, D, E? So you could go back and think A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Or you could just go ahead and start here and look at this one and think, okay, so there's the C and D, here's E, so what comes after the E? F and G come after the E. So we can go ahead and put F comes after E, and then G comes after F. And then again, what happens when we hit the end of our musical alphabet? We restart. So that's why we go to A, B, and then after this it would go like C, D, E, F, G. Okay? Now, with the next one, we have D, we have a blank, F, G, blank, and then B, C. So again, all you have to do is follow some of your handy dandy ones that you've done already. So what comes after the D? We see it's the letter E. And you can, of course, check it. A, B, C, D, E, right? F, G. And then remember, in the musical alphabet, we just start over after we hit G. So again, after G, we get A, B, C, D, E, F, G again. Okay? Now, in this last one, we start on G this time, and then we go to A, right? So at this point in our musical alphabet, we've restarted. So what comes after A in the alphabet? It just goes A, then we go to B, C, D, E, and then here, what comes after the letter E? F. F would come after the letter E, okay? Now, here at the very, very end, we have practice tracing the keyboard, okay? Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can go ahead and do this. Sometimes you can go ahead and start with a box on the outside. I actually like starting on the inside and then coloring in the black keys. And then it's going to ask you to, can you write the rest of the notes after C? So it gives you C, and then you just have to write in all the rest of the notes. So I'm going to do this quite quickly, but you can go ahead and follow along. So usually for me, I always start with the black keys. So I always start with, first of all, this line going down. And then I go ahead and I do the other line going down right next to it. Then I go ahead and allow them to meet by putting a line across. And then I make something that kind of looks like almost like a goalpost in, in a lot of things. In rugby, almost, but mostly in American football. So we're going to go ahead and draw a line down out of that. So now what we end up having is that we're going to go ahead and do that same thing over and over and over again. So, and again, you can go ahead and do this yourself and skip past this portion. But again, we draw the two lines. Then we go ahead and meet them in the middle, right? And then what we can do is we just draw a line straight down from there. Here we just have a straight line, so we have no black key here. So we can go ahead and just draw a line straight down. Then we can go ahead and keep going. So line here, line going down here, then meet them in the middle, then line coming down. And we have two more of those. So line here, meet them in the middle, line coming down. One more, line here, meet them in the middle, line coming down. And at that point, you have all of your black keys really separated. And if you would like to, again, you can go ahead and, color in these black keys. I'm just using the color brown because I lost the color black. I don't know where I put it, unfortunately. But again, and you can color it in a much prettier way. I'm going to just be quick about it and kind of just fill them in so you can kind of see them, okay? Now, after that, what we do is I'm going to have us do the outsides. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the top. So we're going to do the top first. So we're going to just go ahead and draw and trace this line all the way across this top. Then you can do the rest of it differently if you would like to. I like to actually go ahead and do the sides next. So I'd like to do the left side down, the right side going down. Oh, I did a bad job of tracing that one. That's okay. And then what we do is that we go ahead and trace the bottom line. And we get our keyboard. Yay. And of course, this is only a specific portion of the keyboard, but it has all the notes of our musical alphabet. So after middle C, or after C, the next letter that we have is, if you remember, is D. Then we have E, then F, then G. And again, by the time that we get to G, we start over at the beginning of our musical alphabet. So it goes A and B. But give this one a try. See how it goes, okay? Again, I hope that this has been very, very helpful for us in terms of figuring out where the notes of the musical alphabet are. But this has been the video on musical alphabet practice.